Welcome to Globeteller. In this video, we are going to be covering one of the biggest human impacts on the world, plastic. Plastic pollution is everywhere, from the deepest ocean trenches to the fish on your dinner plate. But how did we get here? What is all this plastic doing to marine life, ecosystems, and even us? And more importantly, can we still fix it? Or is it too late? We produce over 430 million tons of plastic every year. These synthetic materials made primarily from fossil fuels like petroleum and natural gas. Their lightweight, durable, and moldable properties make them ideal for a wide range of uses, such as packaging, electronics, and medical supplies. The very features that make plastic so useful, its durability, resistance to decay, and low cost, are also the reasons it's such a massive environmental problem when improperly discarded. About 12 million tons of that ends up in the ocean annually. But it's not like we're just throwing it straight into the sea. Plastic enters the ocean in several ways, through rivers and storm drains, especially in developing areas with poor waste management. From fishing gear, nets, ropes, and traps that are lost or discarded at sea. From litter, think plastic bags blowing into the water or cigarette butts washed off streets. And through wastewater, synthetic fibers from clothes and microbeads from cosmetics flow down the drain and eventually reach the sea through rivers and lakes. These plastics have serious effects on the marine ecosystem. Plastic doesn't biodegrade. It breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces over time, polluting the entire water column from surface to seabed. Coral reefs support around 25% of all marine life, despite covering less than 1% of the ocean floor, are under serious threat from plastic pollution. A study published in Science, Lam et al. 2018, found that corals in contact with plastic are 20 times more likely to suffer from disease. Disease refers to infections caused by bacteria, fungi, or other pathogens that damage coral tissue and can lead to death. When plastics get caught on coral, they do two major harmful things. Physical damage. Plastic debris can scrape or tear coral tissue, creating open wounds. And bacterial colonization. Plastics in the ocean often carry colonies of bacteria. When a piece of plastic settles on coral, it introduces harmful microbes directly onto the coral's surface. These infections can take different forms. Skeletal eroding band disease, which literally dissolves the coral's skeleton, white syndrome, which strips away living coral tissue, leaving only white limestone behind, and black band disease, which forms a dark microbial mat that destroys coral tissue underneath. As corals become infected and die, they lose their color, structure, and the ability to support fish and other marine organisms, turning vibrant reefs into lifeless rubble. This is a huge concern for biodiversity, fisheries, and even coastal communities that rely on reefs for tourism and storm protection. Seagrass beds and mangroves, critical nurseries for fish, are being choked by plastic waste, reducing biodiversity and weakening coastal defenses. And this isn't just a problem for wildlife, it's a system-wide collapse in progress. Oceans are essential to life on Earth, not just for marine species, but for us too. They regulate the planet's temperature by absorbing over 90% of the excess heat from global warming and help control weather patterns through ocean currents. They also support massive food chains that feed billions of people worldwide. But perhaps the most surprising fact? The ocean is a major player in helping us breathe, not directly, but through the tiny organisms it supports. About 50% to 80% of the oxygen in Earth's atmosphere comes from marine algae, especially phytoplankton, microscopic plant-like organisms that float near the ocean's surface. Like plants on land, phytoplankton use photosynthesis. They absorb carbon dioxide and sunlight, and release oxygen as a byproduct. These invisible algae act like the lungs of the planet. Without them, the air we breathe would be dramatically different, and our entire climate system would collapse. So when we talk about protecting the oceans, we're not just protecting sea turtles and coral reefs. We're protecting the very systems that keep Earth alive and breathable. When they suffer, everything suffers. More than 1 million marine animals die each year from plastic pollution. But it's not just choking and entanglement. Animals often mistake plastic for food, especially when it smells like algae or fish due to microbial buildup. Over time, floating plastic accumulates bacteria and other organic matter on its surface, giving it a scent that many marine animals associate with food. One tragic example is sea turtles, which often confuse plastic bags for jellyfish, one of their favorite meals. In the water, A drifting plastic bag looks and moves eerily like a jellyfish. When a turtle swallows it, the plastic can block its digestive system, leading to starvation, internal injuries, or death. A 2016 study found that over 50% of sea turtles worldwide have plastic in their stomachs, and younger turtles are especially vulnerable because they're less selective about what they eat. Once eaten, plastic blocks digestion, causes starvation, or leaches toxins into the bloodstream. In some cases, seabird parents regurgitate plastic to feed their chicks, poisoning the next generation. Even plankton, the very base of the ocean food chain, have been shown to eat microplastics. That means plastic is traveling up the food chain, which is a serious cause for concern. When tiny organisms like plankton consume microplastics, those plastics don't just disappear. Instead, they stay in the organism's body. And when plankton are eaten by small fish, the plastic moves into the fish. Those fish are then eaten by larger predators, and the cycle continues all the way up to humans, who may consume seafood contaminated with microplastics. This means that plastic is entering the food web at its foundation and moving up through a process called bioaccumulation. As small organisms are eaten by larger predators, plastic particles and the toxic chemicals they carry, including BPA, phthalates, PCBs, and heavy metals, accumulate in higher concentrations. These substances have been linked to hormonal disruption, organ damage, infertility, immune dysfunction, inflammation, and even cancer. According to a 2022 study in Environmental Science and Technology, the average person now ingests around 5 grams of plastic per week, about the size of a credit card, through sources like seafood, bottled and tap water, and even the air. Microplastics are so small they bypass most filtration systems, making them nearly impossible to avoid. While research is still emerging, the evidence so far is clear. Plastic pollution doesn't just harm marine life, it directly threatens human health as well. If current trends continue, there could be more plastic than fish in the ocean by 2050, by weight. And plastic production isn't slowing down, it's ramping up. Companies are expected to double plastic output by 2040 unless major changes are made. Without intervention, plastic pollution could triple by 2060, according to the OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. That means more marine extinctions, food insecurity, climate disruption, and irreversible damage to global ecosystems. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. Here's what you can do. Reduce single-use plastics. Bring reusable bags, water bottles, and cutlery. Avoid microbeads in cosmetics and choose natural fibers when buying clothes. Support legislation. Push for bans on unnecessary plastics and better waste infrastructure. Join cleanups. Community efforts remove tons of plastic from natural habitats and raise awareness. Choose companies that care. Support businesses that use sustainable packaging and materials. Plastic pollution is massive, but it's not invincible. With enough pressure and awareness, we can turn this tide. Plastic pollution is one of the defining environmental crises of our time. But knowledge is power, and action creates change. If you learned something today, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. And tell me in the comments, what changes are you willing to make in your life?